I'm in the workshop again, and another one of the final pieces of the puzzle for the MX5's here, and it's the coilovers. Yes. I've talked to you about this quite a few times before, where in the past, you know, I've had, I think, 6 different MX5s over the years. All of them I've modified, all of them I've used hard on track, drifted, you know, loads of drift days, blah blah blah. I know what I like on them, I know what's good, I know what's not so good, and so on. And like I've said a million times before, I've used like very budget coilovers, Pro Sports and stuff like that, and in all honesty they've been great on road and track. They've been fine. But you listen to the internet, and when you talk about coilovers, it's no different to anything else. You know, everyone always shouts about the big names and says everything else is junk. Very rarely with any experience of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like some geezer telling me that 1,500 quid coilovers are better than, I don't know, 300 quid coilovers, because he said so, despite me being on track countless times in countless MX5s with cheap ones and finding them good, and him probably never been on track in his life. Who do I listen to? Myself, my own experience, or some random on the internet? The minute anyone says to you, you get what you pay for, you know they've never really understood or had that much experience with cars, because you don't get what you paid for in the modified car world, unfortunately, because there's so much crap around, you know, so much. Things are sold on a lie, things are sold on a brand, blah blah blah. Quality and price are not, they're not hand in hand. And while there was a lot of people telling me to get certain coilovers and blah blah blah, simple fact is, I'm not made of money, and when I know that the cheap ones were fine for me, could I justify spending 3 times that on another set which I've got no proof will be any better? Just people saying so? No. So while I've not gone for really, how do I say it, in the past I've always gone for the bare bones minimum. They're adjustable height coilovers, but they are literally, they end up using the standard top mounts, they are non-adjustable for stiffness, they're just bare bones, and in all honesty they were fine. This time, because of good experiences elsewhere with it, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go up a bit, but still a budget price, are still like half, maybe not even half, what a lot of these, you know, big name ones cost. And honestly, do I believe it's half as good? No. To be honest, I don't even know if the other ones are any worse. Quality wise, to be fair, they look as good. Spec wise, it's the same. So what are you paying for really? The brand? Once I was at a trade show, and trade shows, apart from like SEMA, but you know, like more private trade shows, are literally, they are like no cameras allowed. You will get thrown out for being seen with a camera. And the reason I don't like cameras is because cameras tell the truth. And what you realise is a lot of these companies, these so-called big names, so-called UK this or so-called whatever, nah, it's all the same. A lot of these companies are all the same one, just different branding, and they're often from the same country, and it's not the country you think they are. Because of that, and I've been shown no proof and no justification apart from I've got them and they're mint, to justify paying the kind of money some people do for these ones at sort of other a flavour of the month for certain brands, because that's the thing with these, you know, brands and car parts. You'll have like a favoured brand for that type of car, because that's just what that scene sort of, they copy each other. But you go to another scene and they're consider a different brand great, that other scene will consider crap, and so on and so forth. It's like, you know, some of them would like, oh, I'd never run that, that's junk, and the other people will consider it like high-end shit, you know what I mean? Car parts are a minefield, and again, I go from proof only, and if I can't go, if there's no proof either way, then I use my common sense and decide from there. And that's what I've done this time, and let me go show you. The coilovers I've chose are Max Speeding rods, which are a company, they're Chinese, they don't try and pretend they're not Chinese, unlike a lot of companies who are also Chinese but pretend they're some kind of UK brand, because no, they're not. Reason I went with these is the simple fact is I have had dealings with their other parts and they have been brilliant. I've already shown you in other videos I'm using their rods in the Volvo engine, and they are genuinely top quality, and countless people have been running 200 brake per cylinder, their rods. Plus, from other people's experiences I've seen lately, that this company really are sort of trying to get a name for good quality stuff. So, you know, looking at the specs of their coilovers, they had, I think it was 2 different main kinds for this car. Basic non-adjustable ones, which are very similar to the Pro Sports and blah 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 that I've run before, which have always been fine. But they also add adjustable ones, as in adjustable stiffness. And looking at the pictures, it's like, hang on, this stuff looks and is spec'd exactly the same as some of these things that are, you know, twice as much money. So I thought, screw it, considering these things are still super cheap. I think these were less than £300. I thought, you know what, I'm giving them a go. And I can tell you one thing, I reckon I'm right. You'll know over time, because obviously they're going on the car, and this car is going to get used hard on track and road. So whatever my experiences are with them, you're going to bloody know about it. I don't know about you, but it's pretty clear, even from the outset, that this is actually damn good quality. I mean, aside from the price tag, if it didn't have that brand on it and somebody showing you them, you'd think, oh Christ, there's some proper expensive bloody coilovers, because they are very good, really nice stuff. Proper dust protection boots, no bare metal, it's all painted so it's less likely to corrode up and stick. It is good stuff. Proper, it comes with solid top mounts, so you don't have to use your originals. Obviously here, this is the top adjustable part. Under there it's an Allen key head, so you can adjust it, but it's literally click 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 click. I think it's, I can't remember how many, I think it's like 32-way adjustable, something like that. But you know, everything is quality stuff. It's not just crap. It's a proper spherical bearing at the top. Proof is in the performance, so I won't know for sure until it's on the car. But what I can tell you, because you see these people going, oh, you know, this is it rusts up, it don't last, it's this, that, the other. Okay, then let's look at just the basic stuff. The vast majority of it is aluminium stuff that cannot rust. The threads are all coated, and I don't know what they're made of, but because of the coating, they're not likely to just seize up. I mean, to be fair, in this country, coilover threads will seize up. It don't matter what brand you've got. In this cold, wet and salty country, they're prone to it anyway. But if you put some decent protection on them, You know, quite often I use, it looks horrible, but like white lithium grease spray is a good one. But anything to stop them getting corroded. Then generally, you know, there's no way these are going to be worse than any other. That it's going to be on par with the rest of them. It's got a decent dust boot. The springs are very well powder coated and stuff by the looks of it. There's only one thing left to do really. I mean, fitment, I know they're going to be fine, and you know, it's not, of course they are, you know, it's literally one bolt at the bottom and the two at the top. It's going to be great. The proof obviously is going to be in the performance, and I'm going to test that and prove that. I'll tell you what it's like on the road. I mean, and bearing in mind, this is another funny thing, people are like, oh, something's too hard, something's too soft, something's whatever. That's the spring rate, you know. You drive any car with sort of track orientated spring rates on the road, it's going to be hard as hell. You drive any car with road orientated spring rates on the track, it's going to be soft as hell. But thing is with these, like I said, I've had MX-5s with stock suspension, I've had MX-5 with a few different brands of cheap, like non-adjustable coilovers, and I know what they're all like. And yeah, they was all fine. No reliability issues with any of them. And driving wise, there's no way they were limiting me. And this is another thing, people blame the parts. It's like, no, it's your driving that's usually, you know, the limiting factor and not the parts. And no way was that stuff holding me back. But from experience, because bearing in mind, I've been doing this kind of crap for over 20 years now. And I've ran coilovers on countless brands and countless cars, from expensive stuff to cheap stuff to whatever. The stuff on my RX-7 was thousands of pounds worth of coilovers. And I can tell you one thing, that thing wasn't magic just because it was thousands of quid. Do you know what I mean? So, but overall, from first glance at least, from a good look and from experience of, and that's the funny thing, because obviously I worked for Redline for what, best part of a decade. We had every manufacturer of coilovers. You know, we literally in the office at any one time we'd probably have 10 sets of coilovers for different cars from different brands and so on, because we had to photograph them and so on for the product section. So I've been around and handled every, Jesus Christ, every single brand of coilover you can ever imagine. And I can tell you one thing, this looks as good as any of the other best ones, and in all honesty, a lot better than some of the, shall we say, more expensive ones. I'm not going to say, you know, better ones, because they probably weren't better, but this is better quality than a lot of the more expensive ones. So time will tell, but what I can tell you firsthand, and hopefully you can probably see it from pictures, it's decent, very, very decent. And as you might have noticed, silver and black again, which goes with the silver and black color scheme that the whole thing's being. So I know they're going to be up in the arches where you can't see them, but again, maybe that's good luck. But as soon as I realized you could buy them in this color, it's like, yeah, I want the silver and black ones, please. But anyway, it's enough waffling. This is my kit, this is the coilovers. I will install them as soon as I put all this back together, because unfortunately I'm waiting for the steering rack bushes to turn up. I thought they was with this kit, turns out they're not with this kit. I don't even think this company makes rack bushes for the power steering rack, weirdly. I don't even ask me why. But I've ordered some now from some MX-5 parts specialist place. I really hope they don't turn up in like 2 weeks. I hope they turn up in like 2 days. But you never know with these parts places, do you? So they're extortionately expensive for 2 little bushes as well. It's like 40 quid for 2 poly bushes. It's like, wow. Wow, you know, including delivery, but it's like, Jesus Christ, it's not value, but you know. So yeah, once the rack's back together, once the suspension's back together, it all gets bolted up to the car along with these coilovers, and yeah, The car is then a full rolling chassis again. I mean, I could put them on the back now, actually, if the back's back together, but I do it all at once. But yeah, very, very pleased these coilovers are here, and I'm very impressed with them, to be fair. Well, you know, so I didn't expect not to be, because you could kind of see from pictures, you know, it's like, when you've been doing this stuff for this long, you kind of get a good idea from pictures if something's just tarted up junk or if it's actually decent. And from pictures, like, Christ, this stuff looks good, so it was going to be worth a punt, and genuinely it is. So there you go. If anyone's wondering if you should get some or if it's as good as it looks in pictures, I think the answer is it's actually better. So yeah, it's up to you what you want to buy, but I reckon value for money, I don't think anything would have touched this for me, so I'm glad I bought it. Anyway, that's enough for me, and I will see you on the next video.